Probably because I'm out of my damn mind. Just kidding. For a wide variety of reasons. Mostly because I think it's going to be worth a lot in the future, which is why most people invest or buy into anything when it comes to investments, or in this case, NFTs. This specific NFT, the specific GIF that is in the thumbnail, is called a tube. And this tube allows you to get a ute. And this ute is a monkey kind of looking like Yeti that happens to also be part of a bigger umbrella and come from a original project called DeGods. Now, I just said a bunch of weird words and confusing terminology that most of you of this audience probably have no idea what I'm talking about. I am going to share this video with the general NFT community that I'm part of, but most of my audience who have come here for banking, for careers, for life advice, for thoughts on New York City, probably have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm probably clicking this video because you're thinking, wow, this guy is going crazy and making poor monetary financial decisions, investing $1,000+ actually into this NFT of a GIF, which doesn't really look like anything. For a bit of history on where this all came from, there is a project called DeGods, led by this man named Frank. His name is actually probably not Frank, but he goes by Frank DeGods. He wears this mask. I've actually met him in person, but I've never seen below his eyes. And most people revere him as to be one of the many leaders within Solana NFTs. And in fact, he is grabbing the most attention out of any project, I would say, within Solana. He created this project called DeGods back in the fall/winter of 2021. And ever since then, it has skyrocketed to become this blue chip core project that has done crazy things within the Solana and just general NFT ecosystem. It is this picture of a godlike person. There's 10,000 of them, and they happen to look like macho men or have these various qualities that make them look very person/godlike. In fact, I actually think a big part of their success is because they are so human-like and so characterable. A big part of NFT's marketability is their ability to become a profile picture for Twitter presence. And I think there's a reason why things like monkeys and apes and human beings do very well as these, because they are good at personifying or embracing a persona/character of an individual. It's harder to relate to something like a watch or a paper napkin or a hot dog as your profile picture, but if it's a monkey or a person, something more humanoid, I think it's easier to relate. Unlike a wide variety of projects in this space, which tend to be easy cash grabs or disappear or not really deliver on what they say they will, the DeGods project has been very good about continuing to develop and deliver not only what they promised, but new things that they didn't promise before. They've been very continuously building, continuously trying new things, and a lot of them don't really work out as intended. Obviously, there's a self-fulfilling prophecy part where, as they continue to do well, different things that they do that others may have already done or have done better doesn't really see the light, and they see the light because everyone is focused on them. But for the most part, they have tried things and done things that no one really has done or tried. They have this thing called the paper beep tax, where people that are selling before or below the floor price, so selling for cheaper than what is already listed for, gets taxed at this 33.3% rate. They're obviously trying these new things with different projects. They did something called DeGods, where they were able to turn DeGods into a dead-looking thing. A whole wide variety of things that many of you guys won't just understand. But in a sense, they have become the Apple or the Tesla of Web3/NFT projects, where they're just trying cool new things. Of course, the insane amount of trading volume, the creator royalties, and overall ability to capture an audience and make money, and recent funding for what's called Dust Labs, their parent entity, has enabled them to invest into better developers and try new things. But overall, it has accumulated from their lack of reluctance to settle, their ability to continuously deliver. So that is the background of DeGods and Frank, this entity, this community and project/company that is now at the forefront of Solana NFTs and ultimately trying new cool things to bring this space forward. DeGods has become incredibly expensive. By the making of this video, it has now a 500 SOL floor, which equates to, of course, I can't do the math, for current SOL pricing, $15,000. You need about $15,000 to buy a DeGods to join this community. So Frank has had this vision to allow more people to join this umbrella system of Dust Labs, this ecosystem. Quick reminder that Dust is their currency that these DeGods and this Dust Labs uses, kind of like Dogecoin or Solana or Ethereum or Bitcoin, to do things within this ecosystem that the Dust Labs is inevitably creating. You need Dust. This no different for this y00ts project, which Frank developed, so that there would be a new way for people to enter this ecosystem, to enjoy this community aspect and create a somewhat elite group, a community that was really going to lead Solana NFTs to the next step. And a big part of this, a revolutionary aspect of this, was what's known as the y00t list. It's a scholarship of sorts that allows you to mint / buy a y00ts from the very beginning. And it was a pretty revolutionary concept that hasn't been implied in Solana NFTs before, whereas previously when you wanted to mint something and there was the whitelist idea, something that allows you to mint something, you have to do pretty menial tasks like share a tweet or tell other people about it, like a tweet, engage with a tweet, be active on the Discord to show your excitement or your ability to carry out certain tasks or spread the good word of the project. In this case, I think Frank tried to envision a community where he didn't necessarily want people to sell. He wanted people to curate this community, have y00ts become almost the core cool group, the cool lunch table, where people that are builders in the space, the people that have influence in the space, held these y00ts and continued to create a community that pushed Solana NFTs to its limits. In concept, it was a great idea, and most of its execution also great. I happen to be fortunate enough, just because of my affiliations with Hyperspace, all I've done for YouTube videos and talking about Web3 and a variety of other reasons. I think that the team that was covering these y00tless applications was considering kind of like college admissions, was lucky enough to become a part of this y00tless and get this scholarship. Granted, the scholarship doesn't give you the money to buy it, it just gives you the ability to buy it. And as I mentioned before, to buy these y00ts, you had to use Dust or their cryptocurrency to acquire this y00ts. So essentially, as I've explained before, this great project called DeGods that has continuously been delivering now created this new project called y00ts, which now gave out the ability to buy so through the y00t list, through this application scholarship process. Along with that also came the ability to buy y00ts if you already had a dead god. So if you had a DeGod originally, turned it into a dead god, and that also gave you a spot guaranteed to partake in buying these y00ts. To take a step back, I said earlier that I actually don't have a y00ts yet, but I have a toob, T-O-O-B. y00ts is now Y-O-O-T. The ability to get a y00t now comes from having this tube. You don't need to buy anything more. It's just this y00t now turns into, this tube, it's too many words, tubes now turns into a y00t, kind of like a Pokemon evolution or having an egg that hatches into a Pokemon. So currently, to re-summarize, DeGods, a cool project, a company that has done well within the Web3 ecosystem, created a new project called y00ts. To get a y00ts, you had to either be a part of a y00t list or have a dead god and have enough dust to buy such a y00t, instead of buying the y00t directly to allow for an entire other wave of trading. They created something called a tube, which will turn into a y00t on Friday if you happen to mint it. As you guys can imagine, there's a high demand for these y00ts because not everyone could get it at a public level. A public wave is about to start at the time of this video's filming, but there's very limited supply, obviously, because all the y00tless holders and the dead god holders have been redeeming / buying these tubes. These tubes are becoming trading like crazy right now. In the first 24 hours, $5 million plus worth of tubes was traded. And by Friday, these tubes will now mint into y00ts, and people will start owning these profile pictures of these Yetis, and a whole nother industry / market will be created. Not much is known about these y00ts besides the fact that cool people hold it, beyond builders in the space that most of you wouldn't know about unless you're part of Web3 or part of Solana NFTs. Alan Iverson is theoretically a y00ts holder. There's figures like that have entered into the space and have redeemed a tube / potentially a y00ts. Long story short, to answer the question of this video, it's an anticipation. By the time of this video, the tube is already being traded for around $5,000 US, even though it was minted / bought for $1,000. So my theoretical return would be 5x. Obviously, as a part of this anticipation and as a part of me being an active member of the space and personally a bullish fan of the Dust Labs ecosystem. Hyperspace is actually invested in Dust Labs, full disclaimer. I will most likely hold my UT. I think it will continue to go up in value. It will give me access to a community of builders and influential people. But I think this was an interesting case study of why people buy NFTs, a legitimate reason why people invest into NFTs. And I hope that this serves as an example of that NFTs are not all scams, and there exists some level of utility/anticipatory backing based on previous history or experience that people invest for. I hope this video somewhat helped. I hope those that are watching that are already part of the Solana NFT community have enjoyed / hope feel free to correct me in the bottom if I have made any mistakes. And as always, I thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Oh, let's go.